So now it's time to start our most awaited webinar. And first of all, we will uh, have the blessings of Ma Saraswati before starting any program. So we will start the program with our Saraswati Vandana. So I'm sharing with you the Saraswati Vandana. Uh, Please enjoy.
या कुन्देन्दु तुषारहारधवला या शुभ्रवस्त्रावृता या वीणावरदण्डमण्डितकरा या श्वेतपद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युतशङ्करप्रभृतिभिः देवैः सदा वन्दिता सा पातु सरस्वती भगवती
So after Saraswati Vandana, we'll formally start our program. So this webinar is organized by the NEEV, that is called National Education Enrichment in Villages. This is uh, uh, a special group in which all the peoples, student, teachers, social workers, all are joined together to work for the rural as well as slums as well as tribal areas to provide the education. So uh, today's we have chosen our topic how to become ecopreneur, be a job provider instead of job seekers. So this I want to give some highlights of this why we have chosen this topic, because we are working in the villages, and since we are working since 2018 and before that, so we know what type of problems villagers are facing nowadays, and the most important problem is the rozgar. So in this pandemic also, we have seen that a lot of people are coming from like Mumbai, Delhi, and several these cities to their respective villages. Why? Because they are threatened. Okay, pandemic is spread in the cities, and they can save their life at the at their villages, and they can do farming and whatever the things, and can earn the livelihood there. So in this pandemic situation, this topic is very much relevant, because we here will know how we can be a ecopreneur. Ecopreneur means like uh, we can save our environment, and by doing some environmental things and saving environmental things, we can also create the wealth. So how farmers, how the people who are living in villages can make wealth while managing this environment, and all the things like we can just I was sharing thoughts with my fellow colleagues before this webinar, and he was saying that there is a some sort of people who have made the milk without buffaloes, without cows, without the gods. So just they have made milk by some genetical processes. So there are like lot of opportunities. One of my friend is also working on like making the manure, कहते हैं ना हम लोग ऑर्गेनिक खाद बनाने के लिए, तो हमें बहुत सारी ऐसी चीजें हैं जो कि गांव में रहने वाला पर्सन है वो इजीली कर सकता है, वो भी एंटरप्रेन्योर बन सकता है। तो ये टॉपिक जो आज का हम लोगों ने चूज करा है वो उसी पे बेस्ड है कि हम कैसे गांव के हर एक बंदे को जो कि गांव में रहना चाहता है उसकी लिवलीहुड को कैसे बढ़ा सकते हैं, और कैसे हम जो हमारे माननीय प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी हैं, जो उन्होंने कहा था कि भाई वो डबल कर देंगे इनकम। हम तो ये कहते हैं कि अगर हमारे फॉर्मूले या हमारी बातों जो इस वेबिनार में रखी जाएंगी उसको अगर लोगों का स्वीकार कर लें, तो डबल नहीं 5 गुना इनकम तक बढ़ सकती है जो गांव में रहने वाला किसान है, और उसका जो सामाजिक स्तर है वो बहुत अच्छा हो सकता है। तो इसी के साथ मैं अभी थोड़ा सा बताऊंगा अपने जो हमारा सोशल इनिशिएटिव है नीव के बारे में। उसके बाद मैं मंच जो है राजन वार्ष्णेय जी जो हमारे वाइस प्रेसिडेंट हैं नीव के और डिप्टी जनरल मैनेजर हैं, मैं उन्हें प्रोवाइड करूंगा। तो अभी मैं एक आपके साथ एक नीव का एक प्रेजेंटेशन शेयर करता हूं, उसके बारे में मैं बताता हूं कि कैसे नीव जो है कहाँ कहाँ कैसे कैसे काम कर रही है। तो जैसे मैंने बताया कि नीव का मतलब है नेशनल एजुकेशन मैनेजमेंट इन विलेजेस, विच इज़ ए सोशल एजुकेशनल इनिशिएटिव बाय आईआईटी एलुमनाइज। इसमें हम लोग क्या क्या काम करते हैं वो आपके साथ शेयर करेंगे। ये हमारे ऑफिस बियरर्स हैं, एडवोकेट हरिदत्त वर्मा जी प्रेसिडेंट, प्रोफेसर बीरपाल जी वाइस प्रेसिडेंट, श्री राजन वार्ष्णेय जी वाइस प्रेसिडेंट, डॉक्टर गीतांजलि कौशिक शी इज़ ए एनवायरमेंटलिस्ट सेक्रेटरी, एंड प्रोफेसर अनिल कुमार मलिक, Dr. Vijay Kumar Tiwari and myself, Dr. Updesh Verma. I am coordinator of this initiative. So the main aim of our NEEV is to empower Indians by enriching them with quality education in every village, slum and tribal areas. This is the main aim of our NEEV. And vision is very clear. Like if poor cannot come to the education, then education must go to them, towards the poor. And mission is make every Indian educated, aware about duties, rights, make India and its people self-reliant. This is our motto. जैसे अभी हम लोगों ने कुछ इनिशिएटिव्स स्टार्ट करे थे कि हम लोगों ने पराली प्रदूषण हो रहा है, ठीक है, तो जो पराली है जो स्टबल है उसे हम ना जला के उससे हम एग्रो बोट्स बना सकते हैं, उससे हम बहुत सारी ऐसी चीज़ें बना सकते हैं जिससे कि गांव में रहते हुए जो किसान है उसको बहुत सारी इनकम हो सकती है उससे। तो हमने ये जो फॉर्मूला है उसे दिल्ली के सीएम को भी प्रेजेंट करा था लास्ट ईयर। तो हम लोग इसमें भी काम कर रहे हैं, और हम लोग कोविड रिलीफ में जो मास्क है हम लोगों ने एक आईआईटी हमारे एलुमनाई हैं उनके सहयोग से ये मास्क बने और हम लोगों ने उसे डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करा जो कि कोरोना वॉरियर्स थे फ्रंट लाइन में। ये हमारे कुछ इनिशिएटिव्स की मीडिया कवरेज है जो हमारे साथियों ने अलग अलग मीडिया में प्रकाशित करी। देन हम लोग जो लोग अपने इस पेंडेमिक में जिन्होंने अपना रोजगार खो दिया था उनके लिए हम लोगों ने एक कैंप लगाए डिफरेंट डिफरेंट, और इस पेंडेमिक में जब तक लॉकडाउन रहा जब तक रोज़ कहीं ना कहीं जाके हम लोग उन लोगों को प्रोवाइड करते थे राशन, जिससे कि वो अपना जीवन यापन कर सकें। और अभी एक हमारे साथी हैं गौरव जी हमारे साथ जुड़े हुए हैं, वो उनके साथ हम लोगों ने एक नीव और विद्या करके एक निःशुल्क शिक्षा अभियान के तहत हमने एक इनिशिएटिव शुरू करा है जो कि हमारे गवर्नमेंट सरकारी स्कूलों के बच्चे के लिए फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट हम लोग उसे प्रोवाइड करा रहे हैं। तो ये इसके बारे में मैं अभी गौरव जी से कहूँगा थोड़ी देर बाद, तो वो उसके बारे में बताएंगे। तो ये हम लोगों ने जो साथ में मिलके काम करा है कि जैसे बच्चों को हम दूर सुदूर जो विलेजेस में भी बच्चे हैं उन तक भी हम एजुकेशन प्रोवाइड करा सकें। तो ये मैं अभी लेफ्ट कर रहा हूँ, हमारे गौरव जी इसके बारे में डिटेल में बता देंगे आपको। हम लोग बच्चों के साथ थोड़ा सेलिब्रेशन करते हैं, जैसे होली है, दिवाली है, जिससे कि बच्चे जो गांव के बच्चे हैं, स्लम एरिया के बच्चे हैं, जिससे ये फील ना कर सके कि वो पिछड़े हुए हैं, तो उनके साथ सब प्रोग्राम्स शेयर करते हैं, उनके मिठाइयाँ बांटते हैं, डांस करते हैं, बहुत डिफरेंट तरह की एक्टिविटीज़ करते हैं। और हम लोग क्या करते हैं कि ऐसा भी करते हैं कि जो छोटे छोटे हमारे घर में सामान है उससे हम कुछ एक्सपेरिमेंट बना के बच्चों को बताते हैं, और उनकी फिजिक्स है उनके पीछे जो साइंस है उसके बारे में हम बताते हैं। तो बच्चों को लगता है कि अच्छा ये तो बहुत इजी चीज़ है, तो क्यों ना हम भी पढ़ लिख के हम भी इजीली साइंटिस्ट बन सकते हैं या हम कुछ और अच्छा काम कर सकते हैं। तो ये उन्हें एज ए मोटिवेशनल थिंग्स हम करते हैं। उनके बाद ये कुछ हमारी प्लांटेशंस हैं, जैसे हम प्लांटेशन का भी काम करते हैं, सीडिंग का भी काम करते हैं, पॉल्यूशन के बारे में अवेयरनेस का भी काम करते हैं। बहुत सारे हमारे काम हैं जो हम लोग नीव एजुकेशन सोसाइटी जो है इसके थ्रू करते हैं। हम लोग बच्चों के लिए जूते हैं, चप्पल हैं, बैग्स है, स्टेशनरी है, उनकी ड्रेसेस है, उनका किसी सरकारी स्कूल में एडमिशन है, सब चीज़ें हम लोग ये करते हैं। उनके लिए समर कैंप्स हैं, विंटर कैंप्स हैं, वो भी ऑर्गेनाइज कराते हैं। हम साथ ही साथ महिलाओं के सशक्तिकरण का भी काम करते हैं। तो महिलाओं के सशक्तिकरण के लिए हमने मेरठ में एक जगह ली है। वहाँ पे हम लोगों ने एक सेंटर बनाया है, जिसमें कि जो काफ़ी 50 से ज़्यादा महिलाएं हैं वहाँ पे ट्रेनिंग ले रही हैं। ये हमारी कुछ क्लासेस की फ़ोटोज़ हैं। उसके साथ साथ हम उनके न्यूट्रिशन का भी ध्यान रखते हैं, और कुछ डिफरेंट ऐप्स भी हमने स्टार्ट करे थे। ये हमने जो सेंटर था, सिलाई सेंटर, जो उसका इनाग्रेशन करा था। हेल्थ कैंप्स भी हम लोग लगाते रहते हैं बच्चों के साथ, जिससे कि बच्चों में जो भी कमियां हैं, जैसे आइज़ है या कोई माल न्यूट्रिशन है, उसके बारे में हम लोग उन्हें बताते रहते हैं। हाइजीन के बारे में उन्हें करते रहते हैं। और ये कुछ हमने वेबिनार्स हैं जो हम लोगों ने अभी, दिस इज़ नॉट ए अपडेटेड लिस्ट, तो हमने मोर देन 20 वेबिनार्स अभी तक कंडक्ट करा दिए हैं, जिसके थ्रू हम देश विदेश में 24,000 लोगों को अवेयर अभी तक कर चुके हैं। और ये डिफरेंट हमारे वेबिनार्स की कटिंग्स हैं जो हमारे मीडिया ने प्रकाशित करी हैं। तो जिसमें बहुत सारे लोग, जैसे वाइस चांसलर्स हैं, मिनिस्टर्स हैं, वो सब लोग हमारे साथ जुड़ते हैं, जिससे कि हम ऑनलाइन इस पैंडेमिक के टाइम में भी सबको बता सके कि हाँ भाई, इस पैंडेमिक को हमें एक अवसर के तौर पे लेना चाहिए। और ये कुछ हमारी 7-8 क्लासेस हैं जो हम अभी बच्चों के लिए चला रहे हैं, जहाँ पे बच्चे जो है, हम निशुल्क शिक्षा अभियान के तहत उन्हें फिजिकली जाके पढ़ाते हैं। कुछ एनजीओस हैं, उद्गम, रॉबिन हुड, आर्मी, यू वीकेंड, आईटी डे, एलुमनाई एसोसिएशन, ई टैक्स, कवच, अलग, ये हमारे साथ मिलके काम करते हैं। और जैसे कि हमें पता है कि भाई, आप अगर किसी के साथ अच्छा करोगे तो वो रिटर्न बैक हमें खुद ही मिलता है। स्वामी विवेकानंद जी ने भी कहा था कि अराइज अवेक स्टॉप अंटिल यू रीच योर गोल, कि जब तक हमें नहीं रुकना है, जब तक हमें अपना गोल नहीं मिल जाता है। और अब्दुल कलाम जी भी कहते हैं कि मिस्टेक से ही हम लोग सीख सकते हैं, और हमारे जो मिस्टेक्स नहीं करेंगे तो इसका मतलब हम किसी गलत पाथ पे जा रहे हैं। लाइफ भी ऐसी है कि हमें बैलेंस रखना चाहिए। हमें ज़्यादा पैसे कमाएंगे तो भी लाइफ का मज़ा नहीं है, या हम खाली पढ़ते रहेंगे तो भी लाइफ का मज़ा नहीं है। हमें दोनों चीज़ों का बैलेंस करके करना है, और हमें अपना वे खुद ही बनाना है। कोई भी हमारे लिए वे नहीं बनाएगा, तो हमें अपना वे खुद ही बनाना है। तो इन्हीं शब्दों के साथ मैं अपना वक्तव्य ये समाप्त करता हूँ। और हमारे साथ हम ऐसे ही वेबिनार्स करते रहते हैं, और बाकी आगे भी जब वेबिनार्स करेंगे तो हम लोग आपको बताते रहेंगे कि और मैं अब, एक हमारे गौरव जी हैं, मैं उन्हें इनवाइट करता हूँ कि वो 2-3 मिनट में अपने, जो हमने हमारा नीव और विद्या का ऐप है, जो डिजिटल पोर्टल है, उसके बारे में 2-3 मिनट में संक्षेप में अपने विचार रखें। डॉक्टर मिस्टर गौरव जी।
धन्यवाद देश जी। सबसे पहले मैं नीव संस्था का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करना चाहूँगा, जिन्होंने आज ये इतना सुंदर वेबिनार ऑर्गेनाइज किया है। और उपदेश जी और उनकी पूरी टीम को बहुत बहुत बधाई इतने अच्छे सुंदर प्रोग्राम के लिए। दोस्तों, मेरा नाम गौरव गोयल है। मैंने आईआईटी दिल्ली से बीटेक और एमटेक किया है। और अभी जैसा कि उपदेश जी ने बताया, हमारा एक बड़ा सुंदर प्रोग्राम विद्या एजुकेशन के माध्यम से देश के लाखों बच्चों तक एक इतना अच्छा प्लेटफॉर्म बनाया है, जिसमें बच्चों को पहली कक्षा से 12वीं कक्षा तक का सारा कंटेंट निशुल्क प्रोवाइड किया जा रहा है। दोस्तों, इसके साथ में उन्हें कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जाम्स की तैयारी का कंटेंट भी निशुल्क प्रोवाइड किया जा रहा है। और इंग्लिश स्पीकिंग कोर्सेज और कोडिंग रिलेटेड कोर्सेज, जो हमारी नई शिक्षा नीति 2020 के अंतर्गत, जिसमें कि आने वाले समय में इन कोडिंग के कोर्सेज को पाठ्यक्रम का भी हिस्सा बनाने का प्रावधान है, ऐसे कोर्सेज को इसमें इंक्लूड किया गया है। और दोस्तों, जैसा कि इस वेबिनार का टॉपिक है कि कैसे एक एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप में लाया जाए, एक मेन स्ट्रीम एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप हो, तो इसमें मैं बस इतना ही कहना चाहूँगा कि आज इस दिशा में कहीं न कहीं काफ़ी सारे प्रिंसिपल्स क्योंकि यहाँ मौजूद हैं, तो एक गुरु का एक शिष्य के जीवन में बहुत बड़ा महत्व है। और कबीर ने भी कहा है कि गुरु गोविंद दोनों खड़े, काके लागू पाए, बलिहारी गुरु आपके जिन गोविंद दियो बताए। तो हमें अपने स्टूडेंट्स को भी साथियों एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप और सोशल एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप के बारे में बताना है। और ये बहुत अच्छा प्लेटफॉर्म है। एक बार फिर से बधाई करते हुए मैं वापस उपदेश जी को हैंड ओवर करूंगा। बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं।
धन्यवाद गौरव जी आपका। और गौरव जी हमारे आईआईटी दिल्ली के बहुत ही अच्छे एलुमनाई हैं, जिन्होंने कि बहुत सारे लोग एक्चुअली क्या होता है कि पैसा कमाने पे विश्वास रखते हैं, बट हमारे जनरली जितने भी मैं लोगों से मिलता हूँ उनका यही रहता है कि भाई हमें पैसा तो कमाना है, बट हम उसे उस पैसे को जो हम कमा रहे हैं उसे अच्छी जगह लगाना है, जो सोशल कॉज में लगाना है, जो हमारे पिछड़े हुए लोग हैं, जो जिनके पास रीच नहीं है। ठीक है, एजुकेशन ही एक माध्यम है, दिस इज द ओनली वे बाय विच वी कैन इंक्रीज द स्टैंडर्ड ऑफ लिविंग टू द पीपल जो कि हमारे बहुत सुदूर गाँव में रह रहे हैं। तो ज़्यादा ना कहते हुए अभी मैं अपने सम्मानित वाइस प्रेसिडेंट डॉक्टर मिस्टर राजन वार्ष्णेय जी को इनवाइट करता हूं कि वो आएं और इस प्रोग्राम को आगे बढ़ाएं। मिस्टर राजन वार्ष्णेय जी।
धन्यवाद उपदेश जी। ये टॉपिक अपने आप में इतना बड़ा टॉपिक है और इतने हमने मतलब इसके लिए अच्छे अच्छे स्पीकर्स का चयन किया जो खुद अपनी लाइफ में इकोप्रेन्योर बने हैं। उन्होंने एनवायरनमेंट की रक्षा के लिए अच्छे कदम उठाए हैं और काफी टाइम से जुड़े हुए हैं इससे। मैं अपने अगले स्पीकर अमिताभ टंडन जी को इनवाइट करता हूँ।
Thank you very much, Mr. Vashne. And it was just enlightening to hear the work that Neve is being doing. And I wish all the best to Neve for future endeavors. It is indeed a great cause that you are all working through. And be it environment, be it education, all are, and entrepreneurships, all are very important aspects which needs to be promoted. So I would share my experience and from the work that I'm currently doing. I operate a biomass power plant in Rajasthan, and it is a 12 megawatt capacity. So biomass, as you know, is one of the most talked about topic today because of the great pollution that it is being creating to the entire northern part of India. And be an ecopreneur, be a job provider rather than a job seeker. This is a very adapt statement because climate change today is a topic that we know it is so critical, it is so devastating for everyone in the world. And in those challenges, there are opportunities which comes out. And there are various opportunities. It is something that we have to do it through our action. And coming to my biomass power plant, biomass not only offers significant possibilities for clean energy production and agriculture waste management, but also fosters sustainable development in rural areas. And मेरा जो बायोमास प्लांट है ये राजस्थान में सांचौर में लोकेटेड है और इसको जो है ऑलमोस्ट 8 साल हो गए हैं। और इन 8 सालों में जो है हम लोगों ने पर डे जो हम यूज करते हैं, वी यूज अराउंड 350 टन्स ऑफ एग्रीकल्चर वेस्ट, and our primarily fuel that we use is Prosopis juliflora, जिसे विलायती बबूल भी बोलते हैं, गांडा बावल भी बोलते हैं। एंड इसको जो है इकट्ठा करने में लॉजिस्टिक्स मैनेजमेंट एंड फ्यूल कलेक्शन आज जो है ऑलमोस्ट 1000-1200 लोग जो हैं इसमें अपनी एम्प्लॉयमेंट जनरेट कर रहे हैं हमारे प्लांट से। और जो हमारा प्लांट है वो प्रोसोफिस जूलीफ्लोरा ये लोकल एंटरप्रेन्योर्स, जो लोकल फ्यूल एंटरप्रेन्योर्स आप बोल सकते हैं, उनसे जो है परचेज करते हैं। और जो एंटरप्रेन्योर्स हैं ये एक एक चिपर्स, क्योंकि ये जो है चिप्ड फॉर्म के अंदर हम इसको यूज करते हैं, तो एक एक चिपर जो है उन्होंने लिया हुआ है। चिपर की कॉस्ट जो है वो ऑलमोस्ट 3-3.5 लाख रुपए की होती है। और एक चिपर जो है वो 6 to 7 टन्स जो है पर डे इट गिव्स प्रोसेस्ड फ्यूल व्हिच इज रेडी टू यूज फ्यूल टू आवर बॉयलर। एंड in each chipper there are around 8 to 10 people who are involved in the cutting and in collection. Then there is entire logistic management of tractors and trolleys. So in all, almost 10 to 12 people are involved in one chipping machine. So we have around 100 such chippers now adjoining our plant. So just for fuel management it is around 1,000 people who are involved in our fuel collection and fuel management. And on a daily basis, this is the employment creation in the rural areas, because most of the biomass plants are located in rural backward areas of the countries. So अगर वहाँ पे जो है ऐसा impact आ जाए और आपका अगर 60% जो आपका टैरिफ आपको जो मिलता है वो उस रूरल एरिया के अंदर चले जाए, तो आप समझ सकते हैं कि कितना जो है इसके अंदर उस रूरल एरिया में impact create होगा. And of course, you know, when you are using biomass in a controlled environment, then you are saving the environment and the pollution, which we know, you know, it is creating such havoc in the NCR region nowadays. So there are many such opportunities which can come out from the using the you know, the resources in a very climate friendly way. So, you know, last week we were traveling to from Delhi to Karnal, and on the way you see mushrooms of you know, restaurants which are there. So we were just discussing that, you know, all these restaurants are using LPG. So why not convert, you know, you have Parali in that area, why not convert all these restaurants into pellet users, you know, pellet burners? So that would be cheaper for the restaurant owners also. And so these are just opportunities which are there. And biomass and bioenergy and other climate things are all something which can create a sort of a developed growth in the rural areas, as well as create a lot of employments, because employment which is which one creates in the rural area has more effect on our GDP. So my experience has been quite you know, well in this segment, and there is government support also which is there, in the sense that biomass up to 20 crores comes in the priority sector lending. So bank support wherever, you know, bank can provide, they are able to provide the benefits of priority sector lending to it. Then each of the state governments have their own policies and support mechanism. So all those things are beneficial. So it is something that, you know, one can take an initiative and venture into this sector, which would be environment savior also, and also, you know, there can be a lot of employment generation in the rural areas. So thank you very much.
मिस्टर मोनीश आहूजा जी काफी दिनों से करीब मोर देन 10 इयर्स से बायोमास के साथ जुड़े हुए हैं, और काफी इन्होंने अच्छा प्रोग्रेस किया है, काफी इकोप्रेन्योर्स डेवलप भी किए हैं. मैं उनसे अनुरोध करता हूं कि वो अपना एक्सपीरियंस शेयर करें और कैसे हम और इकोप्रेन्योर्स बना सकते हैं, जिससे कि गांव में बच्चों को पढ़ाई करने के लिए उनके पेरेंट्स छोड़ सकें, उनको मजबूर ना करें अपनी इनकम बढ़ाने में, अपने साथ जोड़ने में.
Thank you, Rajan Vashnaji, Dr. Updesh. Thank you, and thanks for providing this opportunity to me. So, I also work in the bioenergy segment, like the previous presenter Amitabh Tandonji. And Amitabh Tandonji is a dear friend and a guide also. I think almost similar kind of time we have spent in the bioenergy segment of business. So slightly different in terms of our business model. And while Amitabh Tandonji has invested in the plant, and because of the investment in the plant, there are ecopreneurs and entrepreneurs who have got joined with his project. And it's a fantastic thing, the kind of numbers that he presented. We have taken the other route. So we have first made the ecopreneurs or the village level entrepreneurs, and then supporting that for projects to come up. So it's starting from the other end of the value chain. And so in a true sense, that is where the entrepreneurship or the ecopreneurs come up in the environment. And uniquely, all of this is rural. And so we have what we call the farmer or the rural youth who wants to become this ecopreneur. we coined a term where we call them the VLE, the village level entrepreneur. And this village level entrepreneur is somebody who we empower. And we empower this village level entrepreneur in multiple ways. The initial start point is to provide them with all the post harvest farming equipment which they are going to utilize in their fields or adjoining fields to be able to bring out this agricultural residue. So while you do hear about Delhi going black, and which people in Delhi are witnessing even today, and sadly this will continue to be witnessed for years and decades ahead because the solution is still not there. But having said that, the challenge is not only in North India. Just to give you a data point, after Punjab as a state, the maximum numbers of farm burning that happen in India is in the state of Madhya Pradesh. So it's a pan-India problem. It's a pan-global problem where after the harvest, the farmer for sowing the next crop has no option but to put on fire the agri residue or waste left in the field. The more developed economies have developed that process of a value for that product, and hence in those countries it is not burned. But the developing economies or the underdeveloped economies around the world, the farmer burns the agricultural residue. So the same problem that Delhi goes black, you also hear Singapore going black. And Singapore doesn't do agriculture. So why does Singapore go black? Because the countries around Singapore, Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, around the same harvest time, post-harvest, burn the agriculture residue, and the wind direction causes Singapore to go black. So you hear about Singapore going black, but you don't hear about the countries actually where they're burning it going black. So that's the analogy there. Having said that, this village level entrepreneur now becomes the focal point of working for himself or herself with a group of people, anything between 8, 10, 12 people. And they, at the end of the day, after utilizing the equipment that we have given them, bring out this biomass or agricultural residue to warehouse which we create. So warehousing or depot or a collection center is where they bring this agricultural residue, and based on a protocol of weight, moisture, quality, they transfer ownership of this agricultural residue and get paid for this. And they get paid for this 100% through a banking channel, a bank transaction. So what we are achieving is, one, rural entrepreneurship, ecopreneur as you call it. You are achieving waste to value in a decentralized manner of a radius of 5, 10, 15 kilometers. And every day you are getting that farmer or that village level entrepreneur to get money in their bank. And now by creating this hub and spoke model of a business, once we have that raw material or biomass in a collection center or the depot as we call it, from there we take it to multiple economic values of bioenergy. So now we can support biomass power plants, cogeneration plants, plants which convert this biomass residue into steam and cooling, so heating and cooling for industrial purpose. We are able to take it to bioenergy projects like compressed biogas or bio-CNG. We are able to take it to bio-LPG, so we can take it and put it into the city gas distribution networks. We are also able to take it to bioethanol. We are able to take it to drop-in fuel, which is petrol, diesel, aviation fuel of BS6 standard. So all technologies are available to convert this biomass, which has the component of carbon in it, to multiple forward energy streams of carbon in a clean and green manner, and use it for transportation, cooking, electricity, heating, cooling, and use it at commercial scale. use it at large scale. So these village level entrepreneurs become the support system for big ticket infrastructure projects to be set up in rural India. And hence, we also, by doing this, ensure that there is no migration of rural youth into the towns and cities which are infested with rural movement and the infrastructure is collapsing. We ensure that we take jobs which they do themselves, so they are entrepreneurs in their houses, and there is a total ecosystem which gets developed around a project in rural India. Now, if I have the time, Rajanji, you had sent me a message to share a presentation. So maybe 10 minutes, if you allow me, I can go through the presentation, or I can continue this format.
Continue with the presentation. You have another 15-20 minutes.
Sure. Thank you. Thanks for that. So I think I'll be able to. So I'll just share my screen and maybe just let me know once it is visible. So if somebody can let me know if the presentation is visible, please.
Till now, we are having one line. Yeah, it is visible.
Okay. Thank you so much. So the Prime Minister made a clarion call on 15th of August 2019 from the Red Fort, where he said the time has come that the Annadata becomes the Urja Data. Annadata se Urja Data. And I think the business of Prespel, what we do, exactly fits to the T. So the person who is providing food to us, the farmer, is now also capable of providing all the energy that we need from the agricultural residues. So I will give an example of one project where this entire value chain is showcased in Punjab, and how the aspects of the ecopreneur, the village level entrepreneur, the sustainability, not burning of the biomass in the fields, pollution control, all that are met. So what we do as a business is across the verticals which you see on this slide. And the mainstay of entire forward integration of the business is the biomass supply. And the biomass supply to us does not come by we aggregating it, but the village level entrepreneur aggregating it. So the mainstay of this entire business is the village level entrepreneur. What we are able to do is, after we have collected it and got it in the collection center, we are able to take it up the value chain. So we have created a value chain forward integration, and at various points we are able to take out value in terms of money from that additional activity and give it back to the farming community. So Amitabh Tandonji mentioned 60%. In our case, this number is slightly higher, between 65 to 70% of where we are able to extract the value goes back to the rural community. And it's quantifiable because it goes through the banking channel. So you can actually quantify it, that how much, who has got what amount of money in a particular season or a particular year. So a footprint of where we are in India, and this is our 10th year into business. So we are in the locations where you see the circular cross. We are already working with multiple projects here, and all the other cross that you see are locations where projects are under development currently. So in a short period of 10 years, we are by far the most spread out and the largest biomass supply chain management company in India, with also multiple projects in forward integration. Another unique aspect, we also meet the criteria of the Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan. So I am an ex-retired army officer, and all the key management personnel, KMPs of Prespel, are ex-defense officers. So you see this on the slide. So I think the military discipline that we have been able to translate it with connecting with the farmer and be able to create this business ecosystem on a pan-India basis. So, so as I said, any business that you are going to look at has to be sustainable, has to make money, So we are not a for profit or not for profit organization like NEVIS, and fantastic work which is being done by multiple NGOs which you presented, but we are a for profit organization. And unless we make that profit and money, we will not be able to give it back to the community. So the ideology is that create an ecosystem which is sustainable, which makes money, which makes justifiable money, so that you can distribute it. And the key of the sustainability is the distributed wealth which comes along it. So in that process in 2013 and 2019, last year, we got these marquee global investors to invest in the business of Prespel. So even oil and gas major giant Shell has invested. State Bank of India has invested through its NEEP fund. So this is how it actually works. From the farmer who's the village level entrepreneur, to the biomass collection being done by them, to the processing and densification of the biomass being done by Prespel in briquettes. So my previous speaker also mentioned pellets. So pellets and briquettes are only densification of biomass. So we densify it into briquettes, and then deliverance in the form that is required by a client to their plant or project. And what happens is, by this densification of biomass, we are now able to transport it anything between 250 to 300 kilometers and still compete with the price points of fossil fuel, so coal, furnace oil, diesel, and replace it in the urban industrial areas. So we are able to take the energy from the Annadata, take it to industrial areas, and replace the fossil fuel over there. So actually the Annadata has become the Urja Data. So we have some marquee clients, and here are some names. There are many more, but this is just a slide representing few clients where we support their energy requirements. We have partnership with academic institutions. There are many more, but I'm just mentioning two: Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, and IIT Guwahati. There are many more: Xavier University, and many more private universities as well, where we have technical partnerships with. So how and where and kind of what kind of quantum of energy do we convert for clients? And this is just a snapshot to talk about that. So we are slightly different in the model, that we are not taking it to the electricity stream, but we are more decentralized, and we are taking it to industry in the form of steam. So Amitabh Tandon ji takes it one step ahead to electricity, whereas we are one step below, where even at the steam level, we are selling the steam in itself. So we are also the L1 bidders for Hindustan Petroleum, Bharat Petroleum, one upcoming textile park, where their requirements of biomass for conversion to various forms of energies, ethanol in this space, will be met by Prespel. So this is a project. And this is a project which has the integration of the biomass delivery within a 30 to 40 kilometer radius. This project we have established with investment from Prespel in a Sun Pharma plant in Tonsa village in Ropar, Punjab. And if you see, to make an investment akin to a power plant, so this is a steam generating plant, so that renewable energy from the farmer can be connected and delivered to a project. So the entire value chain is integrated. So we make the capex investment in-house. In the technical team, we have our own. So we do the EPC in-house. We manage the biomass supply chain management and give a comprehensive operation and maintenance services for the project to the client. Multiple benefits for a client in terms of, we have been able to price energy with our Rural Connect for 10 years. I have not seen any model anywhere in the world where energy can be priced in a forward contract for 10 years. And because of the Rural Connect, we are able to do this. So year on year, we have priced energy and given it to our clients. And this is our 5th year in operation, and we are still able to make money at that energy pricing. So it's a fairly sustainable model. So in this project, what is the agriculture raw material that we use? So paddy straw, mustard husk, rice husk and danda kutti, as it is called in the local lingo, and that is from the Julie Flora, which Amitabh ji also mentioned. So it's 100% biomass based project. So this is a snapshot of how we built the project in a greenfield site. And this project was built by the team of army officers and colleagues that I mentioned in a record time of 11 months. So the day that the groundbreaking was done was 9th April 2019. The day the commercial operation started was 20th March 20. 24th March, we went into a lockdown. Today we are on 1st of November, and I think very proud to share that this project has been operating to 100% availability, 100% plant load factor right through the lockdown and till date. And that has been only been possible because of the village level entrepreneur model and the sustainability, because the rural economy has worked. Whereas all industries, if you look at urban areas, have been so badly struck that they are still grappling to come back online. So again, technology. So we have technology partners, because to be able to utilize this biomass for various of the streams, so be it densification to briquette pellets, or be it utilizing that in terms of highly efficient boilers, or being able to convert it to bio CNG or LPG or ethanol, you need a technology partner. So in this project, our technology partner is Forbes Vinca. It's based headquartered out of Pune. And this is the great technology, which is the USP. Something which we were able to do together with Forbes Vinca is get this technology appraised for a 15 to 17% energy efficiency, which we are delivering with this project, vis-a-vis a similar boiler based on fossil fuel. And SIDBI and World Bank has approved such projects to get partial risk guarantee up to 75% for because of the energy efficiency aspects. The other key part here is the CO2 mitigation, which you are able to achieve. So I'll come to those numbers as well. So how the biomass is collected and stored, how it is used for the operations. Now here you see how it starts with the Rural Connect. And you know, the left-hand photograph that you see, the gentleman with a green shawl on his shoulder, he is our VLE in Karnataka, the first one. And in 1 year of time that we are working there, he has bought 2 tractors and 1 second-hand car. So that's the quantum of money which we have given back to him to able to do this. And along with him, there are about 20-25 more people who are permanently associated and work with him and derive from the wealth which is shared. So we are very, very particular about our training of the manpower, the HPE and PPE aspects, personal protective equipment, health and protective equipment with COVID there, how the plants are to be operated with global standards, how the aspects of training are to be done, and how the operation and maintenance of these boilers are to be done, or projects are to be done, so that you have the 95 to 98% yearly availability plant load factors, which we guarantee to our clients. So this is how exactly the project is a complete circular economy. So we don't allow this burning. We take it into control burning. We have pollution control board equipment, which is online monitored as per the pollution control board guidelines of the state. And the ash which comes out, we take it to paver blocks. Hence, there's a complete cycle of carbon, which we have. It's as a circular economy, and it's completely neutral. Now, any client, for them to shift or transition to this, it must make economic sense. Otherwise, while everybody wants to be green, but unfortunately, if it doesn't make sense on the bottom line, they don't do it. So such projects are 30 to 40% cheaper than fossil fuel. such projects bring down the CO2 mitigation, which is quantified, and are more energy efficient. So multiple experiences to share with the August gathering here. And it's about the integrated model that you can showcase and develop. And this can be replicated pan India as we are doing, so that many more such entrepreneurs or ecopreneurs come up. I would be more than happy if there are hundreds and thousands more Prespel in the market, so that people are able to do this. The socio-economic aspects are very quantifiable and are an inherent part of this business. How many locals get benefited? What is the income which goes back on a yearly basis? And in our case, these are third party audited by our investors. So these numbers get published in a very transparent manner. So there are lessons to be learned in any business model. And I think this is where the lessons which we learn, we are happy to share if anybody wants to enter this business. For us, I don't think we take it as competition coming, but I think we are very happy that more people learn about this and do it. Because if they are able to do it, I think in the next 10, 15 years, very much we should be moving away from the pollution and health hazards of open field burning of biomass. I think the business model is so robust that right through the inception, everywhere where we have gone or where we have even not gone, we have been awarded right within India and international forums. And the most recent one last month was the United Nations Sustainable Development Award for a business model which is enhancing the SDG goals. Last year we got awarded out of the 30 countries in the Mission Innovation in Vancouver, Canada, where Government of India presented our model, and this has been accepted for other countries also to adopt. So very fortunate to get this recognition across various geographies, states, and various forums. Thank you so much. Thanks for the time. Over to you, Rajanji. If I'm supposed to take question answers, I'm good to take that, or as you direct. Over to you, Rajanji.
मोनिश जी थैंक यू. आपका प्रेजेंटेशन पर बहुत लोगों के क्वेश्चन आ रहे हैं. एक साहब पूछ रहे हैं कि जब बाहर इतना अच्छा होता है तो हम इंडिया में क्यों नहीं इतना कर पा रहे हैं?
जब दो चीजें हैं. वन इज द डिमांड साइड. हमारे पास रॉ मटेरियल अवेलेबल है. बायोमास इंडिया में ऑन अ लोअर एस्टिमेट 500 million metric tons every year is burnt in the fields or is available. तो हमारे पास रिसोर्स अवेलेबल है हमारे फार्मर से, एंड इट इज फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट. फार्मर जला रहा है उसको, उसकी प्रॉब्लम है. और आज हमने एज गवर्नमेंट हमने लॉ एनैक्ट कर दिया है कि अगर फार्मर जलाएगा तो 5 साल के लिए जेल में जाएगा और करोड़ रुपए फाइन होगा उसके ऊपर. लेकिन हमने उसको सोल्यूशन क्या दिया कि अगर नहीं जलाएगा तो रखेगा किधर इसको? अगर ये रखेगा तो अगले साल अगले क्रॉप में फिर कहां रखेगा? रखने की जमीन किधर है? एंड वेयर इज द डिमांड साइड टू अलाउ हिम टू बी एबल टू गिव इट टू समबडी? तो बाहर की कंट्रीज ने क्या किया है? डिमांड साइड को बनाया है. एंड दे हैव सेड फार्मर यू विल नॉट बर्न, and this is the demand where you will provide this, and the farmer does it. We have not been able to bring the demand side in place, where in the last 6-7 years government has brought in lot of work on the demand side. Government has done these things. Unfortunately, we are as a country, and I think I am also part of that, we are very weak in our implementation process. हम रूल बहुत अच्छे बनाते हैं, इनफैक्ट द बेस्ट इन द वर्ल्ड, क्योंकि हम रूल्स थोड़ा लेट बनाते हैं तो हम कट कॉपी पेस्ट पूरी दुनिया का करते हैं और सबसे अच्छे रूल होते हैं हमारे. बट उसको इंप्लीमेंट कैसे करना है बिटवीन पॉलिटिशियंस एंड ब्यूरोक्रेट्स वी फेल. एंड दैट इज वेयर द गैप इज, वेयर आई फील टुडे द इकोप्रेन्योर्स or the population and people like us need to step in and do these things, because I think the governments and the bureaucrats have failed to deliver that. So demand side needs to come. And what I have showcased is an entire eco cycle of demand side, without government intervention on a sustainable basis where everybody makes money. So why do we need government intervention? So the only thing we need from government is to tell these industries by regulation, please shift to this. And if that happens, I think the problem will go away.
Thank you. Very enlightening answer you have given, and told the problems which perhaps being senior persons you will be able to handle much better than our new potential ecopreneurs.
So
Next
Rajanji,
question.
like you have formed this body of NEEM, I am in the process of forming a India-based bioenergy association. While Amitabh Tandonji is the secretary of Indian Biomass Association, which is particularly engaged with biomass power plants. So all the power plants are members of that association. But if you look at the entire bioenergy spectrum, we are forming a Section 8, Section 25 company association, where we want the farmers, the ecopreneurs, the entrepreneurs, the business houses, all to come on a platform where there can be a common voice of interaction with government. I think this is where this bioenergy sector is not there. There is very strong sectoral representation from wind energy, from solar energy, but unfortunately the farmer is so scattered and widespread that he does not get this body to voice his opinion in a way that can be articulated to the government. And the farmer is doing agitation, poor fellow, but nobody is listening to him. So I think we are trying to get the people who are more affluent, who have a voice which could be heard under this association. So we will share
Actually,
it with your coordinates with NEEV, and whoever wants to join, most than welcome.
yeah, we have called government officials also along here, and probably such webinars more by you also will be helping in developing those tendencies towards positive action.
Yes, we hope so. But that is also our hope, Rajanji. Go
Yeah,
ahead, some
next
other
question.
question you had said. Yes, please.
One more question is there. He is asking why you are not doing something outside the country where already demand is there.
We are, and we have started with multiple countries in Africa and Southeast Asia, and we are still, I think, in a stage where the business model has got established, and there is so much more that we can still do in our country, that the concept of taking it overseas before the pyramid base to be strengthened was still not there. So I think now we have a very solid foundation and base, and that is what we are leveraging to take it to other countries. So we are going to Philippines, Indonesia, Malaysia. We are going to Africa, Mozambique, Tanzania, Nigeria. So many countries we are taking it abroad as well.
Great to know it. One more question is there. Why you have not shown anything of biodiesel or biofuels, though you described in your presentation?
आ जाओ, ये इधर से बर्तन रखे हो वो कर देना,
Rajan ji,
अभी आने वाली है.
I didn't show it specifically because of one, the time limitation, but the same biomass, and we are doing those projects. We take it to compressed biogas. I mentioned we are associated with the HPCL, BPCL, IOCL, Shell, MRPL, and many more, where we are supporting this biomass supply to them for the large biorefineries which are coming. And these biorefineries have an investment of 1,500 to 2,000 crores, which are coming up, being put up by these large oil majors. And the compressed biogas projects, which have an investment between 50, 60, 70 crores, which many people are putting, and we are also putting those. So happy at some point of time to give you a similar walkthrough of a presentation on those aspects as well. And my
That
email
would be
ID and
great.
mobile number is here. If anybody specifically wants any details, please feel to write into us, and we will definitely respond.
One more question is from your this statement only, because here the demand has already been created by our oil marketing companies, but still we are not able to get up to 10% ethanol in our diesel and petrol.
Rajanji,
What is the reason?
I will be a bit cynical in my response here. हाथी निकल गया, पूंछ रह गई है. So the oil marketing companies have done everything. A fantastic document has got notified. There is a scheme which is there, but from a financial viability, they have given a price for a period of 10 years, which is 46 rupees per kg as part of the Satat scheme. Somebody has to see how they can work the financial viability there. One aspect which they have left open and they have protected themselves there is somebody sets up a project of 50-60 crores, goes and supplies the CBG to them at 46 rupees a kg, but they will only pay you if they are able to sell it in the market. So if they are not able to sell it, they will not pay you that 46 rupees. And you have set up a plant with 50-60 crores investment, gas is coming up out through in a biological process, and you are going to give him gas and he is going to say, आज बिका नहीं तो मैं आपसे ले नहीं सकता. तो बैंक को पैसे कौन देगा, आपके इन्वेस्टमेंट का रिटर्न कौन करेगा? And hence the financial institutions are yet not supporting this because of this one dent which is still not got bridged. Government is aware of it, oil marketing companies are aware of it, and hopefully they will bridge this also. If they bridge this, I can assure you thousands of these projects will come up in India. So this is a bridge which is still left. The last part is another positive which has happened in the recent RBI notification about 2 to 3 weeks back. All these projects are now part of priority sector lending. And earlier, the priority sector lending was up to 15 crores. Now it has been increased to 50 crores. So these CBG projects are part of priority sector lending with up to 50 crores. So more banks will also come forward to support it, provided the offtake becomes a take or pay.
Thank you, Monish ji. And now I would like to invite Ms. Pankudi Gupta, who is
Thank you, sir. I
fellow
was
in
just-
CM Haryana office and is managing the Kathal district. Can you
Monish sir,
please join Ms. Pankudi?
Yes, I'm just reviewing it away.
yeah, sure. ठीक है.
Actually, her webcam is not working. She will be only speaking. She will not be sharing any presentation.
So thank you, everybody. Thanks for the opportunity. Thanks, Rajanji and Dr. Updesh and Mr. Goel for inviting me. Much appreciated. Thank you, everybody.
A very good afternoon to all. Firstly, deep appreciation for creating such a forum for promoting the concept of creating ecopreneurs in our country. I'm Pankudi Gupta, Chief Minister's Good Governance Associate Haryana, deputed in Kathal. I'll talk a little about this program, CMGGA. CMGGA works closely with the Chief Minister's Office for bringing transparency, accountability, and efficiency in the public service deliveries in the state, and ensures a streamlined implementation of the state's government's flagship programs in the field of education, women's safety, e-governance, health, and sanitation. So CMGGA drives a convergence between various government stakeholders and departments within the administration. And it gives an amazing platform to work with the district administration on key issues and drive a mass impact on the ground. So as a part of my district initiative, the issue that has come up in my tenure was stubble burning. I interacted with farmers, custom hiring centers, agriculture departments to understand the root cause. और सर मुझे यही समझ आया कि इकोसिस्टम बना जो एक enabling ecosystem बनाने की बहुत ज़रूरत है. When we try to understand farmer vis-a-vis his experience with stubble, they are not against using stubble effectively, but their challenges need to be addressed. So all we need to do is consider stubble as a resource and create these farmers, make these farmers entrepreneurs. So firstly, when you talk to farmers and try to understand their conflict regarding stubble burning, you find a huge scope of behavioral change and communication. Because unless and until we understand the stubble as a resource, transformation cannot happen. The understanding of the farmer is that stubble is a waste and its disposal is a challenge, and that has to be converted. In my view, the transformation needs to happen from within. We have to create an enabling environment for execution of this transformation. Because we may create any kind of facility, infrastructure, but two things are very important, sir. That is, one is facilitation to bring this attitudinal change. क्योंकि अगर उनके challenges को हम address नहीं करेंगे तो no amount of technology can fix. क्योंकि एक किसान फसल कटने के बाद एक दिन भी नहीं रुकना चाहता और दूसरी बिजाई करने से पहले ही वो पराली को जला देता है. Secondly, in order to be effective in our promotion, we need to look after building resource efficiency, because there is a huge scope in the existing system. There are multiple stakeholders involved, and the solution would be sustainable only when all the stakeholders are benefited. So even though the resources are available, but the process is not lucrative to either. So what is the solution? So as an initiative, Parali Navnirman project in Kethel, we are working on a mobile application, even though there is an existing application, but we would deal with bridging the gap among stakeholders by streamlining the process of stubble management. A few components of this application will be ensuring timely service delivery through real-time mapping of machines from nearest custom hiring centers, e-marketplace for sale and purchase of paddy straw residue, citizens grievance redressal system. It will show live tracking of stubble burning in the districts for compliance. And then police department will be integrated for filing, uploading, and timely action on FIR. Thirdly, a platform that needs to be created, which is the top heated topic for today's seminar, is creating an enabling ecosystem where stubble is used as a resource for income generation and economic empowerment. Kethel alone produces 9 lakh tons stubble each year, and utilizing this is the way forward. So at individual level, through self-help groups, wherein skilling and capacity building of SHGs will be done to innovative stubble products for income generation. At industry level, networking with industries for procuring stubble and its products. And at mass level, setting up these biomass procurement and gasification centers for creating fuels. Coming back to the first and the most important issue is working on attitudinal change. Because when the farmer will understand that burning the stubble is affecting his field and the environment, and of course he can earn from this stubble, तो जरूर बदलाव आएगा, and it will be a way forward towards sustainable development. Thank you so much, Rajan sir. The entire seminar has been very encouraging for me. And again, like I mentioned before, I welcome all the organizations to visit Kethel. Thank you.
Thank you, Pankudi. Now, I would like to speak in a broader context. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Basically, NEEV is helping people to become ecopreneur, taking care of environment as well as themselves, and increase the farmer income. And in this process, their discretionary income will rise, and our country's GDP will increase with the discretionary spends. That is our total objective. And people have been asking us contact details, where to share their experience, where to share their contributions, and how to join. Our website is there, and there the account details and everything is mentioned. Those who wish to join in any manner, they can always WhatsApp us. In our message also, we have given contact number of Dr. Updesh Verma, who is our coordinator. He will be able to guide you. Now, I'll start with wider context on this. Basically, first of all, planning for ecopreneurship has to be done. One has to find out what need he can address. And in eco-entrepreneurship, it is like environment related. Problem has to be identified, and potential co-benefits have to be identified and taken care of while planning itself, so that overall value-added products give the viability to the implementation plan. Problem examples can be wastewater issues. Like this Parali problem has originated because the rice sowing time has been delayed by 1 month, and accordingly the transplantation time has been delayed. If we can treat our wastewater and use that for our agriculture irrigation, instead of putting that treated water in the rivers back, it can be locally used at the farm levels, and this problem can be solved to a large extent. That date need not be shifted. Farmer will have freedom to join to start his work of sowing rice whenever he wants. Further, we can have water harvesting, because in
Rajan sir, can you
yeah,
make it full screen in
okay,
presentation mode?
yeah, sure. Now is it okay? Updesh, is it okay?
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Similarly, other problems are like we have discussed here, agri waste, which is causing air pollution also. Vehicles are also causing air pollution. If we can reuse the carbon dioxide being emitted by vehicles, again, it can be a good job opportunity and entrepreneurship opportunity. If we can reduce fuel imports, like Monish ji also explained, biofuels can be generated from waste and agri waste. Clean cooking. Many of the persons, even infants, are getting sick or even die within first year because of internal environment in the houses, like they cook by some wood and burning wood and all. So all this can be definitely replaced by electric pressure cookers. Now with the advent of electricity to every village, all this can be easily done, or solar cookers can be used. Lack of electricity can be taken care by distributed grid, distributed solar energy, and this can be a good entrepreneurship. Instead of a DG at many places, this PV with storage can be used, and a model can be made out of it, which will be more eco-friendly as well as cheaper also, and profit earning for everybody. Similarly, energy efficient appliances can be promoted. Now, once the need has been identified, it can be addressed, but simultaneously, one should study the environment. What is the demand in the market? New technologies coming, what financing schemes are there, and the business model should be made taking care of all the policy and regulatory issues. And if required, consultants are also available. A good consultant can be hired for that. And best thing is, solving a problem has ample scope for creativity and innovation. It keeps your brain hungry for new solutions, and development is there. You study more things, you get in contact with more people, and main thing here is proper planning is required. Then minor tweaking can be done as and when it is required, and fast. More than 90% efforts should go into proper planning, imagining scenarios or issues that can crop up, and their potential remedies. It should not be like, say, I'm just quoting one example of GST. So many times rules were changed, so many times return submission dates have been extended, so many times penalties were put, so many times it was criminalized, then it was decriminalized. All this tweaking doesn't help. You should have a plan well thought of, take some time in deciding the rolling out date, but then it should be like have the capability of minor tweaks required only. It should have not be requiring so much changes. Target should be creating and delivering proper solution and business model, and so that the return accrues in due course. One example I can take: financing distributed renewable energy. Here, a scheme is there till June 2021. In such schemes like solar based cold storage, solar water pumps, solar lighting solutions, mini grids, special financing benefits are there. Say, I'm giving one example of IREDA scheme. In this, 5% of the loan amount as milestone-based incentive is given to you, and it is adjusted against the outstanding loans on timely commissioning of the project, and after 20% loan is repaid. Similarly, 10% of the debt account is granted to you. Is not to be paid. So total 15% indirectly you are getting subsidy if you uh, arrange to commission the plant on time and keep on prompt repayments. Similarly, in this, some eligibility criteria are there, some amount criteria are there, some debt equity ratio criteria are there. So what I meant was regulatory and policy changes and rules have to be understood, and then proper range and proper uh, model has to be made, and then the ecopreneur becomes successful and gets to have unlimited income and has the potential to give jobs to many more people. While planning, say, one has to see what investors can I have, what financiers can I have, what interventions are required, what implementable business models are already existing. Should I connect to grid or just supply to our users? Similarly, what manufacturers are available, what maintenance they are able to provide. So I should contact only those manufacturers who can maintain the equipment at my location. What are the other competing schemes? Suppose today grid is not there, and after 2 years the grid comes, then what will be my situation? So all these things have to be thought of. Then payment guarantee, etc., and the policy changes which are expected should be taken care of while starting our venture. Then another need can be like preventing stubble burning, and we have seen a lot of benefits are there. Soil moisture is preserved, PM 2.5 is reduced, high infant deaths can be controlled, ill health can be controlled, soil ecosystem of microorganisms gets preserved. And the research says 70% less fertilizer is required because this stubble itself converts to fertilizer, and 40% less water is required because while burning, a lot of water gets evaporated. Then this, when less water, less fertilizer is required, farmers' profits can increase drastically, and healthy air and environment and less smog chances. Farmer also gets to enjoy better health, better environment. Scope of ecopreneur in tackling stubble. This has been dealt with the earlier speakers also, but 2-3 more things I would like to say. Stubble to compact compost has been launched by PUSA. Last year it was tried and now it has been launched. They are also looking for franchisee models. So if people can contact them and use this franchisee opportunity to their respective areas, they can have it. Then agri waste to construction panels, like Dr. Updesh Verma also described in the beginning. I'll describe it in slightly more detail. Then waste to hydrogen is coming up fast. And I had myself interacted with various ministries and got this hydrogen permitted as a fuel in Motor Vehicle Act, and blended hydrogen, that is up to 18% in CNG. So we are trying to create the demand, like Monishji also said. So once this demand is created, more vehicles are coming up, more industries are using hydrogen, more bigger vehicles like trucks, trains, and ships, aeroplanes that start using hydrogen. Then we can go into fast green hydrogen and at a cheaper and more economical rate, and this all will take care of the environment itself. Similarly, waste to biofuels, like more ethanol can be put. In Brazil, even buses are running totally on ethanol, 100% ethanol. Similarly, we can have also similar engines. Even our Indian entrepreneurs have developed engines which can run on multi-fuels. but still that fuel availability is a issue, although we have lot many waste is there. So it is a good opportunity for ecopreneurs. Then we should have total equilibrium communication, coordination with startups, academia, industry, government, so that proper models, return giving models can come up, and uh, our entrepreneurship can prosper. Risk can be minimized. Actually, it is a business model case, like PV solar, which was initially 17-18 rupees per unit, now has come to 2 rupees or just above that, because of business modeling only. If we do by asset light modeling, like the suppliers also becomes your stakeholders, they become your partner, then everybody is in a win-win situation. Companies also able to sell their equipments. Similar is the case with airlines, like they give you planes on wet lease. So all these models can be utilized in our village entrepreneurship also, where equipment suppliers can also be part of that SPV and earn from that, which we are earning. Lease can be repaid from that. This is one example of a biomass torrefaction plant which NTPC has developed in their Dadri plant through some startup. This is a 10 TPD plant, and it can make charcoal from municipal waste as well as agri waste. And heating is done without oxygen, no emissions are there, and it can be burnt with our coal in NTPC. Moreover, we have invited bids for supply of biomass pellets. Already we have secured about 7,000 tons pellets. This Pusa decomposer franchisee scheme I have hinted. In this, the cost is also very economical, hardly rupees 500 per acre. This is what I wish to describe in slight detail. Agri waste to green construction. It can be bio waste also, municipal waste also. In this, to prevent the stubble burning, it is very much useful if we can compress it and form construction panels. This has many benefits, like agro waste can be used for zero waste. Even no CND waste will be there, because panels can be cut just like wooden boards, and renovation and other changes can be made as and when required. Decentralized production can be there. Suppose stubble is there, within 25 kilometers we make some factory for making these construction panels, and nowadays a lot of construction is going on in the villages also. They are also urbanizing type of thing, so all this can be consumed there also. And moreover, waste can be used to make bricks also. So a lot of topsoil can be saved, and also the heat, energy, and the pollution which accrues due to bhattas of bricks can be avoided. Cement also can be avoided. Manufacturing process is quite simple. It has to be pulverized, then compressed, and then use some resin and pressed to make construction panels. These are fitted in light grade steel frames, and even multiple stories are there. In Czech Republic, EcoPanel is working, and the last 70 years they are making even 7 stories buildings also with that agro board. Recently, Reliance has launched one wood which is called Reliance Wood. It is made of plastic and agri waste. Then some other companies and consultants are doing this. It has better properties. It has more fire resistance, because oxygen is not there. It has been highly compressed. Oxygen is out, so fire it doesn't catch easily. Insulation, heat insulation is there, and construction can be done very fast because frames are first erected, and in those the panels are fit. So it is cost effective also. Like Swachh Bharat Mission toilets have been made with these boards. Similarly, PM Awas Yojana houses in Gorakhpur, these were built in only 20 days. These are like panels are first fixed. In those, the steel frames are first fixed and the panels are fitted in damp. And any finishing like cement finishing also can be done. This is a slum school and solar panels have been put on top, and it was built in 8 days in Gujarat. This is the way the plumbing and all can also be done. Pipes can be put in double panels. Many advantages are there, I have described. This is one typical calculation. About 80 lakh machinery is required, and for a plant of say about 1 crore, including labor costs, we can get a return of around 8.4 crore from the revenue. Total cost, input cost is including land, etc., is 4 crores roughly, and output is 8 crores. So we get back our 4 crores in first year itself. Such schemes need to be seen with the angle that demand is created and with respect to the environmental benefits which accrue. We had also met our Delhi CM, Shri Arvind Kejriwal, and apprised him about such schemes. And also Mr. Gadkari. Then implementation scheme has to be like I told you, asset light models. Like company has to coordinate and manage the supply chain, whether it is agri waste or municipal waste. The provision of various clearances has to be done. Availability of land, water, electricity, etc., has to be tied up. Technology choices have to be made and best technology to be selected. Whose provider can come in as a partner to you? Then you should be able to bring in the marginal finance on which the balance loan can be arranged from the investors or banks, or even now investors are bringing in loans as optional OCD. Suppose your startup works good, then they don't ask you to repay the loan. They become partner with respect to some equity. This is called optional convertible debentures. So it becomes a win-win for all stakeholders. Now I'll request Mr. Raul Pruthi to join in. He has a lot of experience in power sector and has been an innovation expert in his companies.
Good evening to all. Thanks Rajan ji, Updesh ji for inviting me for giving the presentation. My compliments to Rajan ji and Updesh Verma ji that they are doing a good job for the students. Also, my compliments to Amitabh Tandon ji and Monish ji that they are doing a really good job in terms of developing VLEs and generating wealth from the waste. I would like to start with I have not prepared any presentation, but I would like to start with the quote from Jamshedji Tata. And he said, like, clean, cheap and abundant power is one of the basic ingredients for the economic progress of a city, state or a country. And I mean, after so many years of independence, still, I mean, last mile consumer is struggling to get the right kind of electricity and the basic, which is basic necessity for him to, have a good life, quality life. That is not there. And uh, bioenergy is a thing like which can be properly used and can be used for, uh, generating wealth. In fact, and it is a good, it can be a good sustainable model. However, lot of innovation is required in that. I mean, you talk about the technology, you talk about the financing mechanism, you talk about the policy, and the most important is about the supply chain mechanism, which we have to further. I mean, already Monaji is doing a lot of stuff, but still, if you see, we have to make it so mature that hey, you put up the agreement and a good corporate is ready to sign that agreement. So that has to be there. And I mean, if you talk about the, army men has taken up the charge for, they ex-army men, they are doing their job in terms of collecting the agriculture waste from the fields. Now time has come for the engineers, to come out with innovative solutions from the technology front also. And it has to be like ready to use technology. Like if you talk about a fuel cell, then these are the modular units. You just have to plug and play. So that kind of technologies, I think, is if you talk about biomass gasifiers or biogas plants, it is available, but that kind of maturity is still not there, which can help a farmer to just run a plant in a smooth manner. And of course, then after sales services and many issues are also there. So from that perspective, lot of work we have to do in the technology front. And so a lot of innovation is required. Also, I would like to say that, if we go to a village, then a lot of things are there, like uh, we have surplus lands available, wasteland is there, gram panchayat land is available, there we can do energy plantation. And of course, right now cost of production is more, but if you compare it from the kind of I was just thinking that uh, on one side we are burning the agriculture waste, on one side we are not able to manage our forest well, and a lot of forest fires are there. So this is energy which is getting into air and causing pollution. On the other side, we are importing energy from other countries. So lot of things we have to do internally. And of course we have to tighten up our belts as engineers and see that what best technological solutions we can bring in and how we can improve the policy. So that is what I want to communicate today. And of course, next time I will be well prepared for the presentation to give in more insights.
Thank you, Rahul ji. Now we would like to thank everybody, and it has been a very nice discussion. Lot of points has emerged, and with respect to the feedback, we can see that people are really appreciating. It gives us great encouragement to carry out such seminars, webinars. I would request Shri Updesh Verma ji to thank everybody. It is really encouraging. Even at this time, 221 participants are there. Thank you, everybody. Aye, Updesh ji.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. And it's very much privileged कि हमारे साथ इतने अच्छे स्पीकर्स जुड़े जिन्होंने हमें बताया कि हाँ भाई कैसे हम लोग विलेज लेवल पे भी हम इकोप्रेन्योर्स डेवलप कर सकते हैं। और मतलब पता ही नहीं, हम लोगों ने देखा भी कि कैसे मुनीश जी ने इतने अच्छी तरीके से इतना सारा अच्छा प्रबंध करके गांव के लोगों की सहायता से ही इतना अच्छा डेवलपमेंट कर रहे हैं वो। तो वहाँ पे हमारे पास कुछ ऐसे मेंटर्स हों कैसे जो हमें एडवाइस दे सके कि हाँ भाई हम कैसे करके गांव वालों को, जो विलेज लेवल पे लोग हैं, उन्हें हम अवेयर कर सकें कि हाँ उनके वो अपने जो लिविंग स्टैंडर्ड है उसे कैसे इंक्रीज कर सकते हैं, वो अपने यहाँ होने वाले रिसोर्सेज का ही यूटिलाइज करके। तो ये बहुत अच्छा लगा कि इतने अच्छे अच्छे टेक्नोलॉजीज के बारे में बताया, और राजन वाशने जी भी खुद ही इस चीज़ पे काम कर रहे हैं और काफ़ी अच्छा लगा। और मैं ये बता देना चाहता हूँ कि मोर देन 1000 जो लोग थे वो उन्होंने इसमें रजिस्ट्रेशन कराया था।
लेक्चरर्स रह जाते हैं, एकेडेमिया रह जाता है, इंडस्ट्री रह जाता है। हमारा ये माध्यम से, इस माध्यम से हम लोगों का ये है, वर्मा जी का भी और मेरा भी उद्देश्य है कि हम लोग जुड़े, दोनों को एक साथ लाएं, और विलेजर्स जो हमारे असली सप्लाई चेन मैनेज करेंगे उनको साथ में जोड़ें और उनको उसके फायदे बताएं और समझाएं कि कैसे वो इसमें अपना योगदान दे सकते हैं और लाभान्वित हो सकते हैं। दे कैन benefit from it and help the country to prosper also, and their life and their children, they can always have better life.
हाँ, क्योंकि जैसे हम लोग तो विलेजेस में काम कर रहे हैं, स्लम एरियाज में काम कर रहे हैं, तो हम लोग का कनेक्ट ऑलरेडी है। बट जो आज टेक्नोलॉजीज जैसे हम लोग सीख रहे हैं, जो वेबिनार में हमें पता लगी है, तो हम उसको उन लोगों को जाके बता सकते हैं। इवन इवन आफ्टर दिस पेंडेमिक, तो हम लोग पर्सनल जाके वहाँ पे विलेज लेवल पे, जैसे विलेज पंचायत होती हैं जैसे, तो वहाँ पे हम इवन जाके उन्हें बता भी सकते हैं, छोटी छोटी वर्कशॉप भी कर सकते हैं, जिससे कि उन्हें और ज़्यादा अवेयरनेस क्रिएट हो जाए। तो यही है हम लोग का मेनली काम है कि हम लोग अवेयरनेस क्रिएट करें और उन लोगों को भी जागरूक करें जिनको इस चीज़ की नॉलेज नहीं है।
अब मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा नेक्स्ट 2-3 मिनट्स में सब लोग अपना फीडबैक लिंक भर दें, फीडबैक हमको दे दें, उससे हम और आगे अच्छे स्पीकर्स और ज्यादा स्पीकर्स और लंबा भी कर सकते हैं और डिफरेंट वैरायटीज और इंक्लूड कर सकते हैं जैसे आप लोगों के सजेशंस आएंगे।
हाँ जी, और अगर कोई अभी भी क्वेश्चन पूछना चाह सकता है तो वो अपने आप को अनम्यूट कर सकता है। मैंने जो सबको अनम्यूट का ऑप्शन दे दिया है, तो जो भी है, those who wants to ask any question in anything, so they can unmute themselves and ask। लास्ट वाला वेबिनार जो हमने कराया था वो स्टबल बर्निंग पे कराया था। एंड लाइक जैसे जैसे भी आप लोग हमें फीडबैक देते रहते हैं, वो हम लोग उसी बेसिस पे वेबिनार ऑर्गेनाइज कराते रहते हैं। तो
मैं सूरत गुजरात से डॉक्टर मोहन पटेल।
जी जी, मोहन जी
सर
बोलिए।
मैं ये बताना चाहता हूँ कि रूरल एरिया में एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप डेवलपमेंट करेंगे तो वहां से माइग्रेट अर्बन में आने से रुकेंगे। और दूसरी चीज ये है कि वहाँ के जो युवा वर्ग है, इन्हीं को अपने घर के नजदीक ही उसको रोजगार मिल जाएगा। तो इसके लिए अपनी गवर्नमेंट, जो स्टेट गवर्नमेंट है या सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट है, उसको क्या करना चाहिए सर, ताकि ये सारा जो पोल्यूशन क्रिएट होता है, वो क्रिएट करते हैं कौन सर? मानव जन करते हैं, समाज करते हैं, है ना? तो ये पोल्यूशन कंट्रोल भी हो सकेगा और दूसरी तरफ ये है कि युवाओं को रोजगार भी मिल सकेगा। तो इसके लिए अपने स्टेट गवर्नमेंट और सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट को क्या करना चाहिए?
दो चीज जो मैंने पहले भी कहा, एक तो डिमांड साइड फर्म करने की जरूरत है, और जब तक वो डिमांड साइड फर्म नहीं होगी, कोई भी इकोप्रेन्योर या कोई भी एंटरप्रेन्योर या कोई भी बिजनेस के लिए सस्टेनेबिलिटी और फाइनेंसिंग करना बहुत मुश्किल हो जाएगा। तो जब डिमांड साइड एक फर्म हो जाएगी, सो दैट इज समथिंग जो स्टेट गवर्नमेंट, सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट बाय रेगुलेशन उनको वो करना चाहिए। जैसे मैं आपको एग्जांपल देता हूँ, जो मैंने प्रेजेंटेशन दिया, जहां पर इंडस्ट्री can shift away from coal, furnace oil, petcoke, diesel for their energy requirement to based on biomass। तो अगर ये रेगुलेशन बन जाता है तो एक डिमांड इंडस्ट्री में आ जाएगी, और उसके ऊपर फिर बहुत सारे इकोप्रेन्योर्स और एंटरप्रेन्योर्स उस डिमांड को मीट करने के लिए आ जाएंगे, क्योंकि अब इंडस्ट्री मार्केट में जाएगी और रूरल एरिया में जाएगी और ये डिमांड मांगेगी। तो ये एक सहयोग चाहिए होगा फ्रॉम द गवर्नमेंट ये रेगुलेशन लाने के लिए। दूसरा एस्पेक्ट है कि अगर ये होता है और ये डिमांड आती है, देन आजकल बहुत सारे सपोर्ट मैकेनिज्म्स अवेलेबल है फॉर सच काइंड ऑफ प्रोजेक्ट्स, जिसको गवर्नमेंट को न्यू इनोवेशन प्रोजेक्ट्स में अलाउ करना चाहिए। जैसे एमएससी स्कीम्स है, जैसे सिडबी और एरेडा की स्कीम्स है, जैसे स्मॉल इंडस्ट्रीज की स्कीम्स है, रूरल एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप की स्कीम्स है फ्रॉम मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एग्रीकल्चर, मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ रूरल डेवलपमेंट। तो एक आपके माध्यम से नीव जैसे प्लेटफॉर्म या और ऐसे वेबिनार से क्या गवर्नमेंट की स्कीम्स अवेलेबल है, एटलीस्ट वो लोगों तक पहुंचे। आज राजन जी ने काफी सारी स्कीम्स का विवरण दिया और बताया कि ये सारी चीजें अवेलेबल है, तो रूरल लेवल पे इसको बताने की भी जरूरत है। और एक रूरल लेवल पे पेपर वर्क आसान करना बहुत जरूरी है। हम एज अ कंट्री पेपर वर्क इतना मुश्किल कर देते हैं कि वो रूरल एंटरप्रेन्योर बेचारा वो पेपर वर्क ही नहीं कर सकता है। तो उसको सरल और इजी करने की जरूरत है। और आजकल जब टेक्नोलॉजी इतनी प्रेवलेंट है कि वो आधार लिंक्ड है, पैन कार्ड लिंक्ड है, आपके बैंक अकाउंट लिंक्ड है, आपका लैंड और खसरा नंबर उसमें लिंक्ड है, तो जब ये सारी चीजें आपके एक इंडिविजुअल की है, उसके अंगूठे का इम्प्रिंट आपके पास डिजिटल तरीके से आधार से, तो आप उससे लिंक करके उसको ये सहूलियत फाइनेंसिंग की क्यों नहीं दे सकते?
Definitely.
That is something which needs to come is in terms of technology intervention and integration and the demand side. अगर ये दोनों चीजें हम प्रोवाइड कर देंगे, then it's a easier model for everybody to kind of come into this, अगर वो आना चाहते हैं.
मैं ये और ऐड करूंगा सर कि जो आपने पूछा था स्टेट गवर्नमेंट और सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट को क्या करना चाहिए, मैं अभी आपको रिसेंट जो हाइड्रोजन का मैंने शेयर किया था एग्जाम्पल, ध्येय बना लिया था कि ठीक है हाइड्रोजन का डिमांड क्रिएट करना है तो उसके लिए सबसे इजी ऑटो में करना है, और मेरे को पूरा सपोर्ट मिला। लेकिन क्या है कि इंटरकनेक्शन मिनिस्ट्रीज में जो है बिल्कुल कोऑर्डिनेशन की मतलब बहुत जरूरत है। मैंने फिर पीएमओ में भी सजेशन दिया इसके ऊपर पूरा कि एक वो एम्पावर्ड एग्जीक्यूटिव या चाहे वो अंदर का हो ब्यूरोक्रेट या बाहर का हो, उसको एम्पावर करके एक इंटर कोऑर्डिनेशन की लिए उसको नियुक्त करें और उसको टारगेट दें और उससे टारगेट लें जो भी है, मतलब कि वो मॉनिटरिंग भी कर सके और जो वो जिससे जो डेट लेगा, जिस डेट को मांगेगा उस डेट को उसे फीडबैक देना होगा। तो इस तरह का जब मैकेनिज्म आ जाएगा तो ये देखिए जो 7-8 साल से नहीं हो रहा था काम, वो 6 महीने में हो गया, लेकिन प्रॉपर टाइम बाउंड ढंग से पर्सनल समझकर इन कामों को ऐसे करके इंटर मिनिस्ट्रियल कोऑर्डिनेशन बहुत जरूरी है। थैंक यू।
यस सर, डेफिनेटली। थैंक यू सो मच राजन सर, आपने बहुत अच्छा आंसर दिया, हमें बहुत खुशी हुई सर। थैंक यू सो मच सर अगेन।
धन्यवाद। तो अब
थैंक यू वेरी मच।